Good morning, Julianne here. This is Melonville. This isn't a how-to channel, it's a journal of mostly my backyard gardening experiences. We're in southeast Saskatchewan on a quarter section. We are in zone 3B and we get about 100 to 110 days frost-free. I'm slowly converting a traditional tilled garden over to being more of a raised bed, no-dig philosophy. But I don't always follow all the rules. So this week we had a couple of days of super windy weather, 40-kilometer wind, sustained 60-kilometer gusts. We had a tornado watch and we had a warning for several hours, and we even had a watch just to the south of us. So we had some wind. I took some video on the Saturday and Sunday because I thought I would just show a couple of things that I did to help the garden weather the storm. But understandably the sound quality is not great. I'll throw in a voiceover if things are really miserable. And there was another thing I was itching to try, and that was to top the onions, and it just seemed like the right time to try it. So I'll walk you through what I did. There's a few things I'm concerned about, like the potatoes. So I've got them here in the shelter of the greenhouse. You know, planting them in containers, I was thinking, yay, I can bring them in if it's frosty. I hadn't thought about how advantageous it is to be able to bring them out of the wind, too. I was really quite concerned about my pepper plants. They're not quite strong enough yet to put up with these winds. So I took some of the buckets, put them over the top of the plants just to get them some shelter from the wind. That metal thing is just to hold the buckets down. It is very windy. I had them on different peppers yesterday, so I don't want them to be big babies and not be able to hold up to the wind. I mean, hey, welcome to Saskatchewan. But at least I can rotate, so everybody gets a day of protection. So the other crop that I'm concerned about here are my onions. You can see that there are some who are already being pummeled by the wind. So what I'm going to do is what's called topping onions, and there are people who swear by it, and there are people who say that the people who swear by it are stupid. So some YouTubers that I follow recommend coming up to each plant at a certain time of year and cutting them to 4 or 6 inches off the ground, just taking all of the green and cutting it off. I'm going to be more selective. It's so early in the year. I don't want to do anything that's going to slow down building the bulb, growing the plant. So I'm going to go plant by plant and take only a couple of the tallest leaves, the ones that I think are going to get knocked over by this wind, ones that look to me like they are at risk. And that way I figure maybe I'm taking 25%, maybe 30% of the leaves off. If they're already bent, I'm going to go for them for sure. If they look like they're going to bend, those are the ones I'm going to pick. But I'm not going to just go after them all. That's my theory. They do bend over close enough to the ground, it is going to stop the growth of that leaf, and that will, I mean, that's one onion ring in the bulb, so that's going to slow that down and I won't get as large of an onion. This isn't totally foreign. I do this when I'm starting to plants indoors when they reach, I don't know, about, what's that, 8 inches, 10 inches. I'll cut them down about half, and I figure it's helping the plant make stronger roots. And since I'm starting them indoors, it's not like I'm trying to get the bulbs big then. I want to have stronger plants instead. But the reason I'm not convinced that I want to just indiscriminately cut them all off at 6 inches, I want them to be a healthy plant, and this is how the plant grows. So I think I'm doing the best of both worlds. How about that? Or making it up as I go along. How about that? And for any of the people who might want to comment and say, "Oh, that's stupid, you don't know what you're doing," I want to ask you, do you live in Saskatchewan? Do you know how windy it gets here? Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it. Now I've got a big bowl of greens and I'm going to chop them up and freeze them. Maybe later this season when I do this again, because I'm assuming I'm going to be able to do this again, I will try the other tip that I've seen where you can dehydrate these and grind them into onion powder, which I've never tried before and I'm looking forward to. And I changed my mind. I am going to try dehydrating them, and I'm going to use my toaster oven set at the lowest temperature. I'll probably have to do this in 2 batches, and let's see how that goes. I also want to show off how absolutely stupendous the sheltered plants are doing. These are a Chinese cabbage and bok choy, and they've been under this row cover mostly to protect them from flea beetles, which is certainly working, and they are amazing. Remember seeing? So you can tell from the sound quality now that it has calmed down considerably. Not for long, I'm sure it will be back shortly. It's a Saskatchewan and it's always windy. But I will sign off for this week, and I will see you again next time. And thank you for stopping by.